Welcome to our International Student Brief program. Today, we dive into some pressing issues facing international students, particularly the heartbreaking cases of mental health struggles among Chinese students in Australia. The recent murder-suicide of 2 students has shed light on the severe isolation and lack of support that many face, prompting urgent calls for better mental health resources and community connections. In other news, a fascinating trend is emerging among young Britons who are turning away from traditional university paths in favor of apprenticeships. With the burden of student debt looming large, many students are discovering that they can earn while they learn, gaining practical experience and securing lucrative careers without the hefty price tag of a degree. Lastly, we celebrate the achievements of Megan Havers, a 16-year-old Olympian who has managed to balance her rigorous training with her studies, even as she faced the irony of failing her PE class. Her determination and support from her school have paved the way for her future as she prepares for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Please continue watching for more detailed coverage on these important topics. South China Morning Post: the tragic murder-suicide involving 2 Chinese students in Sydney has cast a spotlight on the alarming mental health crisis among international students in Australia, particularly those from China. Recent investigations by the Victorian State Coroner revealed a troubling trend of suicides among this demographic, with cultural isolation and inadequate mental health support cited as significant contributing factors. Students face immense pressure, often compounded by language barriers and academic challenges, leading to feelings of loneliness and despair. The coroner's findings indicate that many international students struggle to seek help due to financial constraints, cultural stigmas, and a lack of accessible resources. The situation is exacerbated by societal pressures, as families often invest their life savings for their children's education abroad, intensifying the emotional burden when students encounter difficulties. Yahoo US, a college student's reflective summer at home highlights the complex emotions that arise as young adults navigate their transition into adulthood. Surrounded by nostalgic memories and the familiar comforts of home, the student grapples with feelings of loss and confusion as friendships evolve and life paths diverge. Consulting with a psychologist, the student learns the importance of acknowledging and honoring these feelings, while also focusing on personal goals and cultivating gratitude. The advice emphasizes the need for self-compassion during this transitional phase, encouraging students to establish daily intentions and remain present in their experiences. This introspective journey serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by many young adults returning home after college, as they confront the realities of growing up and the inevitable changes in their relationships. Reuters breaking views: amidst a backdrop of declining property prices and lackluster stock performance, Chinese households are increasingly turning to government bonds as a safe investment option. However, recent warnings from Beijing have tempered this rush into bonds, as the central bank seeks to cool speculative buying. With low savings rates and a challenging economic environment, the demand for bonds has surged, prompting concerns about yields dropping below those of U.S. Treasuries. Analysts suggest that easing capital controls could provide a much-needed outlet for excess cash, allowing for investment abroad and potentially strengthening the domestic economy. Despite the apparent benefits, it seems unlikely that Beijing will significantly relax these restrictions, leaving the bond market as the primary destination for Chinese investors' capital in the near future. BBC reports on the inspiring journey of Megan Havers, a 16-year-old archer from Leicester who recently passed her GCSEs despite the irony of failing physical education. As the youngest archer to compete at the Paris 2024 Olympics, Havers faced the daunting challenge of balancing intensive training and international competitions while preparing for her exams. She expressed that the pressure of the GCSEs was more nerve-wracking than competing in front of thousands. With the support of her school, which provided resources for her studies abroad, Havers is now set to attend Loughborough College to pursue an elite athlete's course, allowing her to continue her training while furthering her education. Her father, Steve Havers, described the emotional roller coaster of watching his daughter excel both in sports and academics, emphasizing the collective effort behind her achievements. The Globe and Mail delves into the heated debate surrounding Ontario's approach to the overdose crisis, particularly the controversial stance taken by Premier Doug Ford against supervised drug consumption sites. With overdose fatalities skyrocketing during the pandemic, public health experts have long advocated for harm reduction programs, which provide safe environments for drug use and access to health services. However, Ford's recent announcement to close more than half of the funded sites and shift focus towards recovery has raised concerns among health professionals. The article highlights that these supervised sites have been proven to save lives and prevent the spread of infectious diseases, emphasizing the potential consequences of their closure, including increased overdose rates and burdens on emergency services. Experts argue that a comprehensive response to the drug crisis must include both harm reduction and accessible treatment options, calling for a balanced approach rather than pitting the two against each other. Telegraph explores a significant shift in attitudes among young Britons regarding higher education, as many now opt for apprenticeships over traditional university degrees due to the looming burden of student debt. With the average graduate facing a debt of at least £27,000, more students are seeking practical, paid learning experiences that offer immediate job opportunities and potentially higher salaries in fields like engineering and healthcare. The article shares the stories of several young adults who have thrived in apprenticeship roles, such as Noah Lloyd, a trainee solicitor who values hands-on experience over theoretical learning, and Aisha Kanhai, a design engineer who appreciates the financial benefits and skill acquisition of her apprenticeship. Others, like Charlie Laycock, who pivoted from biomedical engineering to radiography, emphasize the importance of practical training in their chosen fields. The growing interest in apprenticeships reflects a broader trend of young people prioritizing job readiness and financial stability over traditional academic paths. Telegraph. In a significant financial maneuver, thousands of affluent savers have capitalized on a loophole that permitted the transfer of over £1.14 billion from British pension schemes to overseas accounts without incurring taxes. This surge, recorded in the 2023-24 fiscal year, nearly doubled the previous year's figures, as the removal of the lifetime allowance (LTA) tax charge created an unprecedented opportunity for investors. Tom Selby from AJ Bell emphasized that this one-time window allowed those with substantial pensions to move their funds freely into qualified recognized overseas pension schemes, (CROPs), before the introduction of the Overseas Transfer Allowance (OTA). Additionally, a unique aspect of the rules allowed savers to effectively double their tax-free cash withdrawals from their pensions, prompting warnings from experts about potential scams in the overseas transfer market. Guardian. Senator Bernie Sanders delivered a passionate address at the Democratic Nominating Convention, urging the party to unite behind a progressive agenda that includes expanding healthcare access, lowering education costs, and raising the minimum wage. While he acknowledged President Biden's achievements, Sanders insisted that much work remains to be done, particularly in addressing wealth inequality and ensuring justice both domestically and abroad. His speech resonated deeply with the audience, especially when he called for an end to the horrific war in Gaza, reflecting his growing criticism of the Israeli government and Biden's response. As progressives rally around Kamala Harris as the potential next president, Sanders remains committed to supporting her candidacy while pushing for significant policy changes that align with his vision of economic populism. The Sydney Morning Herald. The tragic death of 21-year-old Xiaoting Wang, a University of Sydney student, has shocked the community after her body was discovered alongside that of her boyfriend in their Burwood apartment. Authorities believe Wang was stabbed, and her boyfriend may have died by suicide, raising concerns about domestic violence. The police are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding their deaths and have appealed to the public for information regarding their final moments together. Superintendent Christine McDonald expressed the community's devastation over the incident, encouraging those who knew Wang to attend a vigil in her honor. The university has pledged support for students affected by this heartbreaking event, as investigations continue into the details of this tragic case. Telegraph. Celebrating its 80th anniversary, Hosea Sons has evolved from its humble beginnings on the Norfolk Broads into a beloved brand that continues to thrive in the travel industry. Founded by Wally B. Hosea Sons shortly after World War II, the company initially focused on offering boating holidays in a time when vacations were a luxury for many. The essence of Hosea Sons remains deeply rooted in boating, as evidenced by successful partnerships like that of Rob and Dee over at Clifton Cruisers, who emphasize modern amenities while retaining the charm of traditional narrowboat holidays. Their commitment to providing high-quality, affordable experiences is evident in their custom-built boats that cater to families and younger demographics alike. As travelers navigate the serene waters of Britain's canals, they find a gentle escape, reminiscent of Wally's vision for a much-needed retreat from life's pressures. Telegraph. In response to escalating financial challenges within the higher education sector, Sir David Bean, the interim chairman of the Office for Students, has proposed raising university tuition fees as a potential solution to prevent institutions from collapsing. With universities grappling with a myriad of pressures, including the pandemic, Brexit, and a drop in international student numbers, Bean emphasizes the need for all options to be considered, including lifting visa restrictions for overseas students. The current tuition fee cap has led to significant deficits for many universities, with some losing an average of £2,500 on each domestic student. Calls for urgent reforms are echoed by education leaders like Vivian Stern, who advocate for inflation-linked fee increases and a restructuring of funding models to ensure the sustainability of the university system. As discussions unfold, the potential for mergers and bridging loans is also on the table, highlighting the urgent need for innovative solutions to safeguard the future of higher education in the UK. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Turn on the TV screen, see the world unseen. China's on the news tonight, history in the spotlight. Scroll through my phone again, find out where to begin. Stories from the east to west, learning from the very best. News in China every day, learning in a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Ancient tales in modern times, mountains high and river rhymes. Culture rich in every town, golden driving never down. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story always heard. News in China every day, learning a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every